defending the free market, and making the moral case for capitalism. The Justin Moore Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Justin Moore Show, where we make sense of what's going on in this crazy, insane, out of control world. Ladies and gentlemen, have you guys been watching the March Madness, the NCAA tournament? Well, yeah, every year I make a point to, I fill out a bracket. I'm usually in a pool, and I'm with my brother's work, and I'm in the same pool this year. And my bracket was actually doing pretty decent. But here's the thing. I really love Louisville, and I always pick them to win it almost every year. In 2013, I was right for once. But this year, it was on the second round. Louisville, they were ahead the whole game, and then they lost. So here I had Louisville winning the whole thing, and they've been out of it. But here's the thing. I had a bracket. Okay, the Sweet 16 just concluded. So now we know who's going to be in the Final Four. In my bracket, after Gonzaga won, and they were going to the Final Four, my bracket was in the 99.7 percentile. So that was pretty sweet. Out of over there was 19 million brackets that were filled out on ESPN, and I was in and I was in the 99.7 percentile. So that was pretty cool. But now that the Final Four has all been decided, Kentucky lost at the last second to North Carolina, and I had Kentucky in the Final Four. So now I'm down to 92 percentile. But anyway, yeah. So it looks like I'm not going to win any money there. But I love watching college basketball. It's always it's really intense. The games are crazy. Anything can happen. But anyway, guys, 2 weeks ago, I was mentioning on my show, it's like, hey, I just got a new part-time job that I'm doing, and so everything's going crazy right now, and it's been really hard to kind of do the show for right now. Yes, just a few weeks ago, actually this last week was my first official week starting, and I have a job. I work with United Airlines, and basically what I'm doing, it's a really sweet gig actually. I'm working what's called below the wing, so those are the guys you see outside that direct the planes in. They're the ones they're loading up the luggage underneath the plane, that sort of thing. So there's a bunch of new things I'm learning, and yeah, it's just part-time, but right now that I'm getting trained in, so I'm going to be like full-time for a month. So that's why it's kind of been crazy. And next week, I want to be gone all week. I have to fly to Denver for training there. And so I'm hoping I won't miss a show. I mean, I think I can still figure it all out. But I just want to give you guys a heads up if you guys are like, hey, Justin, where the heck are you? After producing a new show every single week, I haven't missed a single week since I started this podcast back in September of 2014. I've always been here. Even during Christmas, all the holidays, I produce a show. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up just in case somehow I don't get a show out. But no, working with United, I have great coworkers. It's actually, I really love doing it. And man, the benefits I get working with United is so sweet. I'm now going to have, I think it's after 90 days of working there, maybe it's 45. I'll have health care. So how you guys know how I was like complaining about, oh my gosh, I was $280 a month for health care. And, well, now I want to be getting that included with my part-time job. And here's what's awesome. I get to fly for free anywhere in the world. Yeah, it's sweet. And actually, well, if you travel internationally, there's a small fee that's associated with it because, going through customs, I think that's the reason. Just for the hell of it, I went and I just looked up, okay, what if I wanted to go this weekend? I wanted to go to Dublin, Ireland. So I went and I looked it up, and if I did that, if I went to Ireland this weekend, it would have cost me $24. And now I went on Hotwire, I pulled up the exact same flight that I could get for $24. That same flight would cost $3,400 round trip. So that is an awesome, awesome benefit. So I'll definitely try and take advantage of that. And like if I ever want to go to, any of these investment conferences or anything, just hop on a plane and go. So I'm really excited to be doing that part-time. And once I'm away from the full-time part and I'm all trained in and everything, it actually worked pretty well with the farming thing. I can just, working nights at the airport. So it's not going to be too much of an issue. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up here. So yeah, I'm excited to start the job there. And yeah, it's really awesome actually. let's just kind of get into a little bit of politics here. It's just been kind of crazy with what's been going on here. You have basically it's a civil war taking place in the Republican Party. This last Friday, Speaker Paul Ryan pulled the health care bill and he canceled the vote. So there was no vote at all. So they couldn't get enough Republican support. And there's a lot of people, especially the liberal Republicans, they're blaming the Freedom Caucus, basically the more conservative types, for not supporting the bill. But hey, look, I'm right there with those Freedom Caucus guys. Thank God. I'm glad they didn't get a vote on this bill. This bill was horrible. Remember when I just did an episode on this a few weeks ago. Actually, it was during when President Trump was speaking to Congress. Remember, he was laying out what he wanted to see in a healthcare bill, and I was pointing out on my show here, hey, look, that sounds just like Obamacare. It's just a small tweak. They're not doing anything different. I mean, they're leaving all the spending in there. They're leaving the entitlement part. And this is what's so crazy, too. Here we have a relatively new entitlement, Obamacare, but now Republicans are afraid to tweak it because they're like, oh my gosh, if people start losing their health insurance now, we're going to get blamed for it, and then we're going to lose a bunch of seats in the House. We can lose some seats in the Senate. Oh, we can't do that. We got to leave Obamacare in place now. And see, this is what's so crazy. This is why I'm saying that the size of government is not going to shrink. The only way it's going to shrink is when it's forced to shrink because all this spending largesse taking place. Oh yeah, it's all working just fine until an economic collapse. Then you got problems. Then you got to pay the piper, right? So that's where we're at right now. And so if we can't even get rid of a relatively new entitlement like Obamacare because of the Republicans are afraid they're going to lose votes, how will you ever do any meaningful cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all the massive entitlements that take up the vast majority of the budget? There isn't. It doesn't matter. That's why I keep making the point over and over again on the show. It doesn't matter who's in power. Just government is going to continue to grow when we already have unprecedented debt. And here, look at just a few sentences here from the Wall Street Journal. On Friday, Mr. Trump repeatedly said he was willing to work with Democrats on a new health bill. Earlier this month, he met with House Democrats and told them he wanted to work with them on legislation to allow the government to negotiate for lower drug prices. Mr. Trump has also repeatedly talked about a large infrastructure project to rebuild the nation's roads and bridges, a measure that could also bring both sides to the table. Okay, so here's Trump. He can't get his agenda through with the Republicans, so now he's going to try to appeal to Democrats just so he can kind of get something done. And what I just read right there, where Trump wants to work with Democrats and he wants to help negotiate to get lower drug prices. This is also a point I keep making over and over again on this show that, Trump, okay, he's the author of The Art of the Deal. I think it was his book from 1989, I think. I could be off on that. But Trump just thinks, oh yeah, we just got to negotiate, just like trade deals. We just need a better deal maker in there. Well, Trump's the deal maker. But if you actually want lower drug prices, you need to address the root of the problem. When you're just trying to negotiate lower drug prices, that's not addressing that. You're just dealing with the symptoms. And so it's the exact same sort of thing that was taking place with the bill that the Republicans crafted with TrumpCare. How it was really not addressing. Sure, there was a few good things in the bill, but overall, there wasn't much. Like I just stated, it's just they're just tweaking Obamacare is all they're doing. So nothing meaningful. Where if you really want to fix what's wrong with our healthcare system, we need to go to a free market. We don't have a free market in healthcare. Third-party payers. If you're not price shopping for doctors because somebody else is paying the bill, the free market isn't functioning. Prices aren't functioning. Where else, when you go to buy goods, like you go on Amazon, don't you price shop around? And you're reading reviews, you want to make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck? How many people do that with healthcare? Shopping around different doctors. Okay, no, nobody price shops. So, and so that's what has to be addressed. And then Trump goes and of course Trump gets on Twitter like he always does. And he's like, Democrats are smiling in D.C. that the Freedom Caucus, with the help of Club for Growth and Heritage, have saved Planned Parenthood and Obamacare. Okay, obviously, Obamacare. Okay, so that is what's going on. And doesn't this really say a lot, like with the Republicans? Like, they've had all these years. Obamacare was passed back in 2010, so 7 years ago. And how many times was it that Republicans, when they weren't in power, they kept putting up their repeal bill for Obamacare? I don't know, it was probably like 30 times at a vote on it. But obviously, Obama's not going to sign a bill repealing his Obamacare. So what does this say? This tells me the Republicans all along were bluffing. They never really wanted to repeal Obamacare. They really don't want to go to a free market in medicine. They love government in control. They just want to be the ones in charge of how the money's being dished out, right? So that's what all this tells me, is that the Republicans were just bluffing with their little repeal of Obamacare, just because they knew, hey, we're not the ones in power, but if we make it look like we're trying to repeal Obamacare, well, that's going to be good for us. We can try to get votes, even though we know obviously it's not going to go through. So it was all politics, right? And they really didn't mean it. And now here they are. The Republicans control the House, the Senate, and now the presidency, and they can't get a bill through actually repealing Obamacare. They don't want to do that. And while I'm hoping that, it's a good thing that we do have, there's a lot more conservatives in the House than there used to be. The Freedom Caucus, a lot of good guys, like Mike Lee, and then in the Senate, you have your Rand Pauls, your Ted Cruz's. Thank God for those guys. And they stopped that horrible TrumpCare bill. So hopefully we can actually get something out. And the Republicans, they need to craft a bill that's actually going to help fix what's wrong with our healthcare system. We need a functioning market. The government is not going to do it. And so it's just a total cluster what's going on in Washington, D.C. And there's a lot of people saying, now that Trump can't even get through a repeal of Obamacare, one of his main things that he wants to get through, this is going to halt the rest of Trump's agenda. Like if he wants to try to get through some tax reform, tax cuts, and, go on down the list. So it's affecting momentum, that sort of thing. But I don't know. If the Republicans will actually stand up and they will actually be in opposition to big government, that's actually a party I could support. But no, the Republicans, they're just Democrat light. That's all they are. And it's so frustrating watching all this. And, it always seemed like Paul Ryan, I guess this was before that he was picked as the VP candidate for Mitt Romney. He seemed like he was a lot more conservative, but turns out, no. These guys are always co-opted. They're never really who they think they are. These are politicians. You can't trust them. And so, I don't know, just looking at all this stuff from, the libertarian point of view, you want to see government shrink, and obviously there's not enough individuals on Capitol Hill that even want to come close to doing anything like that. They just want to keep growing the beast, this massive government that's consuming and destroying wealth out there. People are wondering, oh my gosh, look at all these people who are struggling out there. It's just frustrating. So I got to keep the show a little abbreviated today. I'm a little bit under the weather today. It's making it a little hard to do the show. So if you guys can help support me out there, just go to my website. Go to justinmooreshow.com, Moore spelled M-O-H-R. Buy your little Amazon goods through my link. I get a small commission back, costs you nothing extra. You can join Tom Wood's Liberty Classroom. You can donate to me directly through PayPal. I have a little link right there. Just click on it. If you donate over $50 to my show, I will send you my bonus episodes. That I'm still working on my new bonus episodes that I'll be releasing. So you donate to my show, or you sign up for limited time through Tom Wood's link, I will send you my bonus episodes. So here you are. You're getting Tom Wood's amazing, I guess, like their courses, I guess. He has like 17 different courses available about, U.S. history, classes on economics. All sorts of good stuff. I think that's a no-brainer to do that. And you get my bonus episodes, and I tell you how to save hundreds and hundreds of dollars going to Vegas. And especially if you plan on going to Freedom Fest this year, oh man, I can help you out there. And a Freedom Fest this year, man, that's coming up. That's going to be in July. It's going to be at the Paris Hotel, which is right by Planet Hollywood. And I'm going to lay out a strategy for you guys. So if you want to save a lot of money and not actually stay at the Paris Hotel, but one that's close, but it's not far away, and it's going to save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars with this strategy I have for you. And anyway, guys, I will talk with all you guys next week, I hope, and I'm looking forward to it. This is Justin Moore signing off.